Hey guys, I'm Trinity from Trinitystarot, and I am here to talk about the top 5 reasons why you settle in a relationship. Alright, so for those of you guys that don't know me, my name's Trinity. I read tarot cards over on Facebook. I have a YouTube channel and stuff, but sometimes I get people talking to me about different topics, and this is one of the things I wanted to talk about. So I'm making a video. Top 5 reasons. So let's get into the top 5 reasons. If you can, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on the notifications with that bell. All right, number 1 reason is afraid to be alone, which basically translates into codependency. Sometimes we basically end up in these situations where we end up in a codependent relationship. Sorry, my face. It's just a codependent, I would say, relationship or codependency issues. People end up feeling the need to be with another person to be happy. If they're not with someone, they're not happy. That is like number 1. So in a sense, you go out from one relationship into another, not really having any ideas, standards, or goals of where that's going to go. And just, you kind of bounce relationship because you feel the need to be with another person. That's number 1. You can't do that. You know, when you guys put that on, you know, you have to be with somebody else to be happy. Like, it just doesn't turn out pretty, okay? Number 2, trauma, okay? Well, yeah, I was going to say, not trauma, I'm sorry, routine. Routine is number 2. Not trauma. Trauma is number 3. But routine. Number 2 is routine. Routine. You get so used to being with the same person, even though you're not like actually in love with them. You know, you may have been with this person. I'm not saying, hey, walk out of your marriage for like 25 years. No. What I'm saying is you get so used to being with somebody, and it's a situation where it's not progressing. It's not going forward. It's not moving. You guys are just stagnant. You're not doing anything at all. And what that basically does is put you in a situation where you're just in your comfort zone. You're comfortable with this person, okay? You may have a sense of love for this person, but you're not in love with this person. There's not like actual progression. Like you guys aren't moving forward. Like you're not getting married. You're not, you know, building, talking about having kids, any of those things. You're just kind of staying stagnant in the same place. It almost feels like you're not living with your boyfriend, rather you're living with your roommate. Okay? Even if you're in a husband-wife situation, sometimes this happens. You're not living with your husband, you're living with your roommate. Routine. Okay? Things are progressing. Oftentimes, you'll settle for things, or things are in a routine of like, you guys will have the same arguments about the same old things and nothing changes. Nothing progresses. And so you stay and you settle for something because you're comfortable being there in that box. You're afraid essentially to step out into the unknown. All right? Now, number 3, trauma. Let's talk about trauma, okay? Trauma for me, when I think about trauma, I think about the psychotic relationships, okay? I think about the psychotic relationships, and when I say psychotic relationships, I mean like, we've been through this, we've been through that, he's gone to jail, he's gone to prison. You know, I'm not saying ladies who stick by your man in prison, kudos to y'all. That's great. You know, especially if, you know, you want to be loyal to them, you know, and stuff like, kudos to y'all. But you stick by the toxic behaviors. The kudos to the women who, you know, there is progression in it. The person got out of it. It's one thing to stay, you know, and it's actually progressing. They're actually trying to do better. It's another thing to stay in a relationship. No one's going to give you an award because you and your spouse have been through a ton of bullshit. Let's just put it that way. So you bragging about it, that you've stayed in a relationship, like we're still together after all of this, but shit ain't changed. I'm just saying, no one's going to give you a fucking award, y'all. Excuse me for dropping the F-bomb. But no one's going to give you an award for staying in a situation that's constantly, you know, you're going through constant traumatic experiences that both you guys are, it may not be both, you may just be one other party causing that, but another person accepting that is continuously allowing the cycle to continue. Okay, trauma, it's another reason. It's that you get this sense, and then sometimes you have people that end up in like a really severe traumatic experience, you know, like where someone has helped someone get out of a domestic violence situation, but again, this relationship isn't progressing either. Okay, but you feel like you have this, one party may feel indebted to the other. You know, oh, they saved my life, or they did this, they did that. You know, you feel kind of in debt to this person. You kind of, in a sense, it's almost like, I would say, kind of like trauma bonding. You guys like bond over the things that have happened and the things you have experienced together that are really, really negative experiences. And because you've been through them, you give it a sense, a stamp of a justification why you are staying in this particular relationship, even though it's not progressing, you're not happy, and you know, you're not finding emotional fulfillment, and you're definitely not progressing, you know, in a sense to where you may even be married still and still not progressing in life. You know, you guys aren't progressing in life. You're just staying stagnant. All right. That's where trauma is. And so it's like a really messed up thing. Number 4, this is a really fun one kind of to talk about, but my favorite one's the last one that we're going to talk about. Number 4 is called social expectations. Social expectations basically is about what your social circle thinks and what your family thinks and what friends and people around you in society basically just puts on you. Okay, some of us were all programmed like the woman, you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have babies, you're supposed to, you know, have a life. You know, social expectations, that is a big one. Some people stay in relationships or even seek out relationships out of that simple factor alone, because it's like, oh, you came again alone again to the wedding, you know, or when are you gonna bring me some grandbabies, you know, when are you gonna get married? Social expectations kind of lead that into that problem where somebody is willing to settle because they just want to meet the expectation of society. They want to feel accepted by society, and therefore they end up in a relationship that's stagnant and sometimes even toxic. Sometimes it's even toxic relationships where families have this belief system, you're not supposed to, you know, you married this person, you can't leave them, this and that. It's wrong for you to leave them because it goes against our belief system, you know, and you may be in a domestic violence situation, a situation where your spouse is like a drug addict, things are just like really bad, or this person may even be cheating on you and your family says you should stay because that's in their belief system. Again, that kind of falls under the realm of social expectations, where it's in a sense, people stay because they don't want to look bad towards their family, they don't want to look bad towards their friends, they just don't, they're allowing society to put that on them. Okay? And some of us could say, well, I don't care what other people think, you don't. But there are people, a lot of people are out there that do. Even though they portray it as they don't, they really do care. Okay? Number 5. This is my favorite one. Not knowing what you want from a relationship. Not knowing what you want. Okay, so why does this put you and make you settle for less? You're probably wondering that question. Not knowing what you want out of a relationship oftentimes makes you settle for less because there is no standard. You have no standard. Not like you don't have standards. You have surface standards. Surface standards are, okay, does he have a car? Does he have a house? You know, does he pay his bills? It's not really a mind standard of like a real on a spiritual level or a mindset level. So when you don't know what you want, oh my gosh, my hair's in my face. When you don't know what you want out of a relationship and you kind of don't know what you're expecting, or you have no expectations, you're basically opening the door for anyone to walk in. For an example, I'll give you guys an example. A person who wants to travel the world and wants to go to Paris, Rome, Barcelona, or backpack through Europe, if they end up in a relationship with, let's just say Doug. Okay, Doug, who works 9 to 5 at a grocery store, doesn't like to go out of town, let alone leave the state, let alone leave the country and backpack across Europe, they're not going to be fulfilled because that's like where they want to go in life. That's what they really want to do. Okay? So when you're setting goals for yourself, I'm talking about realistic goals. Okay? You sitting there and finding the type of person, when you don't know what you want out of life and you don't know what type of person you want out of a relationship, in a sense, you set it up to where you have no standard. You don't have a standard to what you're willing to entertain and what you're not willing to entertain as far as in the dating realm. I'm getting tongue-tied. So in the dating realm, you guys don't know what you want to entertain And more importantly, what you're not willing to entertain other than the surface level expectations, which are, does he have a house? Does he have a car? Does he have a job? There's no real emotional expectation there. It's only surface level. Does he listen to me? There has to be a little bit more there, because I am one, I do believe, I am a hopeless romantic. I believe in love at first sight in some ways. You know what I'm saying? It's for a small percentage of us. You know, it happens. It's happened. You've seen it happen. There's been stories about it happening. You know, not like fairy tale stories. I'm talking about real stories. I do know of real people who have met like that, and they've actually been happy. But it's a small percentage of people, okay? Because love isn't the only thing that makes a relationship last. You know, there has to be, you have to be committed. You have to trust. There's a lot of other factors, especially when you're trying to build with somebody and grow with someone. Especially when you want to have a house, if you want kids, you know, what you want to do for the rest of your life. You want their goals to kind of fit in with yours, in a sense. And by not knowing what you want, basically you're leaving the door open for somebody to come in and tell you what they want. And then again, you fall into this thing where you're submissive and you're submitting to everyone else is happy. Now, if that's what you want, that's great. But then that's you knowing what you want. If you want that type of situation, you want somebody basically to tell you what to do, that's what you want, then that's fine. That's what you want. That's what makes you happy. Great. But if that's not what you want, and you know it's not what you want, it's very important that you figure out what you want in order to move forward. Okay? So that would be like the way you would go about doing it. And I'll probably do another video on that. But for right now, basically, that is number 5. And it's one of my favorite topics to talk about, because I feel like there's so much in-depth and detail there about that, like about figuring out what you actually do want out of a relationship. I feel like there's so much, like, it's just broad, so much I can cover there. But basically, that's number 5, and the reason you settle for a relationship. You might want to know why, and the reason, like I said before, is because you leave the door open for people to come in and for you to entertain people, you know, and you're kind of willing to entertain people that aren't necessarily meeting your standard, because you really haven't set anything but a surface standard. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching this video. Can you please give me a thumbs up, because it really does help my channel. Make sure to comment below if there was like a favorite one of these topics that you like that I talked about, or if there's something else interesting you think I should talk about. Drop me a comment, and also don't forget to hit that bell and select all notifications. This way you get notifications anytime I post future content, or if I do lives for my tarot readings, any of that stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this video, and I will talk to you later. Oh, and all other social media and all that good stuff is in the description box below. If you want to just book a session with me or anything, everything's in the description box below. All right, how to contact me. Again, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.